This is a CBS News Miami special report.
Okay.
And this is Jim Barry reporting from the CBS News Miami newsroom, and we are awaiting word of what the jury has decided in the Jason Benegas sentencing trial. Jason Benegas, 23 years old, pleaded guilty 2 months ago to the 2021 murder of Hollywood police officer Yandy Chirino, and the jury now apparently has reached a decision on whether or not his sentence will be life in prison or the death penalty. A recent change in Florida law requires that only 8 jurors now must recommend that he gets the death penalty. Otherwise, the sentence automatically would be life in prison. As the jury now is in, and we are waiting a word from the judge as to what exactly that is going to be. This occurred from a case in 2021 in which Benegas wrestled with Officer Chirino. There were reports of a man breaking into vehicles in the Hollywood area. The officer responded. They struggled with the gun, and the officer was shot and killed. The jury has now reached a verdict in the death penalty phase of this trial. And now let's listen in.
Wait, stop. I will handle it.
Do need to look at it.
Ladies, I need 3 people, 4 people, media
For the
from the center row, please. Thank you. Thank you, folks. Thanks for accommodating. Is that okay? You good?
Okay, hold on a second. Okay, for those of you who just arrived, I mentioned earlier that I know this has been a very emotional case on both sides. When this verdict is read, whatever it is, I expect decorum in the courtroom, no yelling, screaming, anything like that. So if we're ready, go ahead, bring the jury out.
Your attention.
Okay, please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my understanding you've reached a verdict. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Would the foreperson please hand the verdict to my deputy? Do we have the jury instructions there?
Yes, sir.
All right, give the instructions to LaShawn. Let me have the verdict form.
Yes, sir.
In the case of the state of Florida versus Jason Benegas, case number 21-9866 CF10A, we the jury find as follows as to Jason Benegas. A, aggravating factors as to count 1. We the jury unanimously find that the state proved beyond a reasonable doubt that at the time of the first degree murder, Yandy Chirino was a law enforcement officer engaged in the performance of his official duties. And yes is checked. We, the jury, unanimously find that the state proved beyond a reasonable doubt that Jason Benegas was contemporaneously convicted of a felony involving the use of violence to another person. No. We, the jury, unanimously find the state proved beyond a reasonable doubt that the first-degree murder was especially heinous, atrocious, or cruel. No. Mitigating circumstances. One or more individual jurors found that one or more mitigating circumstances were established. Yes. C. Weighing aggravating factors and mitigating circumstances. We, the jury, unanimously find that the aggravating factors that were proven beyond a reasonable doubt outweigh the mitigating circumstances established. No. If you... we have a problem. If you answered yes to Section C, please proceed to Section D. If you answered no to Section C, do not proceed. Jason Benegas will be sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. So say we all this 15th day of December, AD 2025, Fort Lauderdale, Broward County, Florida, Robert White, foreperson. Now, ladies and gentlemen, members of the jury, I'm going to ask each of you about the jury's decision that you have just heard. Do you, Victoria Riley, agree that the decision as read by me accurately reflects what the jury decided?
Yes.
Anna Cardenas, do you agree that the decision as read by me accurately reflects what the jury decided?
Yes.
Sarah Santiago, do you agree that the decision as read by me accurately reflects what the jury decided?
Yes.
Alondra Mendez, do you agree that the decision as read by me accurately reflects what the jury decided?
Yes.
Yvette Garcia, do you agree that the decision as read by the clerk accurately reflects what the jury, or by me, accurately reflects?
Yes.
Ta Ali, do you?
So as we've heard, the jury has recommended life in prison for Jason Benegas in the murder of Hollywood police officer Yandy Chirino. His defense lawyers had argued that he had suffered a very traumatic childhood. There was very emotional testimony during the sentencing phase of the trial from his mother and his sister, who told stories about them essentially feeling abandonment because of their family circumstances and situation. And they say that contributed to Jason Benegas suffering a lot of trauma, and that apparently proved to be a very effective argument before this jury. Again, he was pleaded guilty 2 months ago to the 2021 murder of Officer Yandy Chirino, who was responding to calls about someone breaking into cars in Hollywood, and that's when he and Benegas had an encounter. There was a struggle over a gun. The gun went off, and the officer was shot and killed. Jason Benegas, 23 years old, now sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Let's listen back into the judge's instructions.
It's going to be the hardest decision you may make in your life outside of something to do with family members. I know it was long. I know you gave up a lot of your time with your family. I appreciate it. All of the judges here appreciate it. The parties appreciate it. And what I do have for you is our wonderful certificates of appreciation. One for all of you. Ms. Riley, Ms. Cardenas, Ms. Santiago.
And so there we have it, the jury recommending life in prison for Jason Benegas in the murder of Hollywood police officer Yandy Chirino. We'll have much more on this story beginning on CBS News Miami beginning at 5 p.m. I'm Jim Barry.